welcome to our show again today. Our good friend from Birmingham, Alabama. He is with WTBM and PickSixSportsShow.com. And his name is none other than D. Peter Lancaster. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Greetings from Birmingham, gentlemen. What's going on?
All right, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, Bob, they got you hot and bothered, man. Got you talking about Tiger Woods, man.
Yeah, man. That is the flipped upside down, man. If I'm excited and hollering about golf today, so
yeah. I didn't know if I was going to get on today, man. It sounded like you were on it, man. I was like, uh-oh.
He's just been. He's been listening to me for the past couple of months, and he's just finally now agreeing with me.
I'm thinking. Studio audience. What a time for applause. Hey, I tell you what, Peter, I'm excited today too, man. I'll tell you what else makes me excited. Hostess Twinkies.
Oh man, I heard, man, the great debate between zingers and Twinkies.
Yes. I'm telling you, this is
been heated since this morning.
Hey, guys, this is an historic day. They should raise the flag 15 feet higher to honor the return of Hostess Twinkies. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's the most American thing you could think
of.
And what was that? What was that? That movie? That zombie movie?
Zombieland.
Zombieland. Thank you.
Woody Harrelson.
Great
Yeah,
movie.
excited.
That speaks to how great Twinkies are.
Yes.
That's the one thing in the world he wants more than anything.
And Brian's talking about screwing them up, man. Talking about frying them. Oh gosh.
Well, look, fried Twinkies they sound great. I've never had them. I see Brian just did a backflip when he brought them up. So.
Yes. Anyway,
I don't know how we keep getting on this. I don't know what's going on today.
It's an honorable day.
but Peter, we're gonna try to get back on track.
Let's get back to sports here.
But SEC Media Days is
Toss
going
me
on.
that Twinkie over there. All right, let's go.
SEC Media Days is going on down there where you're at, Peter. Kind of tell us what are your thoughts on what's been happening so far?
Yeah, I'm actually when I get off the phone with y'all, I'm actually driving down and going to get on Radio Row, man, and hopefully I could get y'all some content for the next 2 days, man. Hopefully I can meet some people down there and interview some people. Pretty much what I've heard, and I know you mentioned it early in the program before I came on. The big thing so far is Will Muschamp, man. Talking about being on fire, man. Sending some warning shots. The gloves are off, man. He's ready to roll. And Muschamp, I don't know. I don't know if that's one guy I want to mess with.
No, that's the guy I don't mess with. But when it comes to SEC Media Days, you guys have something like that to make an impact when it comes because that's like the Super Bowl of the South apparently in Birmingham is whenever they do the SEC Media Days.
Oh, it's madness. It's absolute madness. I've seen pictures already. I can't wait to get down there. And join the circus.
Yeah, most definitely. So he basically took a shot at Ohio State, just so the people that haven't heard about it knows what we're talking about. He kind of took a shot at Ohio State. Now, apparently, it's been reported, it's rumors, I know Urban Meyer shot it down, that somebody with, I guess, ties to Florida at Ohio State kind of told or tattletaled on Florida with some secondary recruiting violations. And basically, Will Muschamp called him out on it. And go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, did you hear about what the violations were, though?
No, I didn't see what they were. Yeah.
Well, the first one was they said a running backs coach contacted a recruit during like a non-contact, where you're not supposed to talk to the recruits. And then the second one was a recruit got a ride to campus from a player that was currently on the roster. Currently, enrolled at school there at Florida. So those are, I guess as a head coach, when the former coach that's there turns you in for immediately little things like that, I can understand him being a little hot and bothered.
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially what's coming out recently, in the past about Urban Meyer and things that went on at his time at Florida and supposedly not, kind of walking his way around certain things, so to speak. While he was there, and definitely Will Muschamp wasn't having it. He said, we appreciate our friends from Ohio making sure we are compliant with NCAA rules. He said they certainly know a little bit about that. So that was that was awesome from Will Muschamp right there. Yeah, go ahead.
And you look at it too, man. I mean, the irony of it is Urban Meyer and Ohio State. So I love that he made that comment that they should know a little bit about that subject. I think that's hilarious. I think that I think that's very big of him. And also, he made a comment too saying someone asked him, do they think it's odd that he got turned in by Urban Meyer? He used to coach there. He said, Big Ten Media Days are next week. Ask him. I was like, oh.
and I know, I was about to say, I know that Pat Dooley of the Gainesville Sun down there, I know he had reported that Meyer said that he had nothing to do with Ohio State turning him in, which I'm sure, Muschamp doesn't believe that. And I know, like you just said, that Meyer, you'll want to keep an eye on what he has to say or if he says anything, because I know, like you said, that Big Ten Media Days are next week. I believe they're on July 24th and 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there was one other just little side note, and we're early in on it because as we speak, Florida and Missouri are wrapping up, and they were the first two teams from today, and later. After them is Ole Miss and South Carolina, and those are two very intriguing teams because you have Ole Miss coming in with Hugh Freeze bringing back Bo Wallace at quarterback in that humongous recruiting class they had, and then South Carolina with Jadeveon Clowney, who could obviously be the number one pick next year.
Yeah.
But there was one little comical thing that happened. Dominique Easley. He's a D lineman for the Gators, and he was asked a question about Bear Bryant, and he had to ask who was Bear Bryant. Was that a cartoon character? Down here in Alabama, man, I'm not a Bama or an Auburn fan. I'm a Tennessean surrogate down here to Alabama, but Bear Bryant down here, man. That's There's God, family, and Bear Bryant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the culture.
There's not a whole lot of screwing around with that. So that was really comical that someone would say that down here, in the heart of Alabama, right here in Birmingham, with all those people just looking at him. I'm sure he felt about 2 feet small.
All right, hey guys, we need to take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue to talk to Peter Lancaster. Birmingham, Alabama, SEC Day is going on, and we'll continue to talk to him after the break. Coming up at 4? Yeah, coming up at 4. Brian Scannell and Corbin Thompson will be joining us, talking about the MLB All-Star Game, NFL, a lot of other things. I also want to talk to Peter when we get back about Mike Miller being amnestied by the Miami Heat, and should the Grizzlies go after him. We'll talk about that after the break. All right, and welcome back to the show, Talk Back Live with Bob. And our guest, Peter Lancaster from Birmingham, Alabama. And he's down there with SEC Day and Media Day. Media Day. Days. How many days is it? Well, it's 3 days. 3 days? All right. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll have a good time with that. Well, he lives there anyway, so he'll have to go anywhere. All right, Peter, welcome back to the show.
What's going on, guys?
All right.
Yeah, before the break, we were talking about, we were on the discussion of the SEC Media Days and everything Will Muschamp had been talking about. And, I know that he had gotten questioned by, he got questioned about, Aaron Hernandez, and he had said that that's something bigger than, a Florida problem. It's life, and it's a horrible situation. And then they went on to ask him about if he felt that if coaches were responsible for their actions, off the field. And, he said, Will Muschamp said that he 100% thought that they were responsible. And I just wondered if you agreed with that.
You're talking about, are they responsible for, when they're actually there, under their leadership, or?
Yeah, just off the field.
Man, that's tough, Because I mean, look at what Belichick must be going through. He must be getting questioned like that.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick. Does anything ever fall off his radar? I'm sure he's I'm sure he's got every detail of that building. I'm sure he knows that place inside out. So I see why you would say that, being a head coach, but I also think from being someone on the outside of coaching, I don't know if I agree with that 100%. I think you do have some responsibility, yes, but if someone's cold-blooded, they're cold-blooded. There's not much you could do about it. But I guess I can see both sides. I can see why someone would say that, being a head coach. But me personally, I would not hold Urban Meyer, Bill Belichick personally responsible for something so heinous as a murder. It's just, I think that's above their pay grade.
I gotta wonder, was he being a bit sarcastic to some degree? Because I know he was pretty fired up the whole time, like he usually is. But when he was talking about that situation, and it almost seems like to me like he was basically saying, no matter what, 100% we're going to be to blame for what happens. Do you think it could be taken in that way?
I don't know. Muschamp, this had to be an interesting media day for him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's glad he had to go first. You know what I mean? I'm sure he, when he looked at that schedule and he saw he was on day one, I'm sure he was real excited. Because, Muschamp wasn't even there when Hernandez was there.
Exactly.
So I think for him, I think the save face of the university, I think he's going to put on, kind of put on that hat of kind of taking care of their image and saying the right things. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of more what he's doing. Look, have you ever seen Muschamp in interviews or anything?
Oh, yeah.
He's very candid, man. He looks like a guy that could, drink 3 Red Bulls and run through a wall like Kool-Aid Man. I mean, he's so intense. He's so intense, but that's just his personality. I mean, that just comes off natural for him. So he is a tough one to read. Trying to read exactly what he's thinking or his exact reason for saying things that he says.
Yeah, definitely. I almost see him as a smarter Ed Orgeron to a degree. Smarter,
that's great, man. That's a good one.
Ed Orgeron is a very intense man. After working with him for a year, I've never seen anyone like that in my life. He's basically like a comic book character.
He talks like one, definitely. But,
he definitely talks like one.
So is the rumor true about him? Did he really take his shirt off and dare anybody to fight him in the locker room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just got to get verification.
I wasn't there.
I didn't know if that was just like hearsay or a tall tale.
It wasn't like mainly like come fight me. It was just like come do like tackling drills against me or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, he is as big of a nutcase as I thought. So.
Oh, you have no idea, Josh. You have no idea.
Good grief, man. Orgeron, one of the most entertaining guys. But kind of to switch gears here. I know we got a few minutes to the Yahoo Sports Report break. Peter, I want to get your opinion on what we talked about. As far as Mike Miller, it looks like he's going to be amnestied by the Miami Heat.
He just did.
He did get amnesty.
Yeah.
It's confirmed now by the Miami Heat. It's already swirling around Memphis. Bring him in right now. What are your thoughts? Do you think we should bring the former Grizz back? And do you think he could contribute?
Well, you remember we were talking about this on Monday morning, man. Sometimes you just got to wait to let the dust settle to see what's left. And little gifts like this, always tend to fall. And Mike Miller, he gets amnesty. He still could be paid that money, that $7 million or $7 to $8 million from the Heat. So he'll accept a veteran minimum, which would be about 1.4 to probably $2 million. So if you can get Mike Miller, who can come in and gives you that shooter. Now, he's got age on him and he's got injuries. He's not going to be the most reliable. But like you said, Josh, on Monday, there's not a lot of minutes available for a player to come in. So if you can bring in a guy who is a sharpshooter that won't need to play, 18 to 20 minutes like a normal bench player does for a team, he can come in and play spot minutes in big games. Why not? I mean, that's a classic case of just waiting, let the market play itself out. Because we didn't want to tie up more than $3 or $4 million on a player that was going to play minimal minutes. That's just not what this new front office is going to do.
Peter.
So a player that comes open like this, you're only going to pay $1.4 million. that's ideal. I mean, that is exactly what they're looking for.
Peter, do you think Mike Miller can come in now and make an impact, be this shooter that they're looking for? I mean, a threat where, he comes in and people have to say, watch out for Mike Miller. I mean, he's a threat type. I don't believe he can be that type of a person to come in and be that person that they're looking for.
I 100% think he can, Peter.
I think he can, too.
If you watch the finals, so I know Bob did. I don't know if you forgot he watched it.
I watched it, but I mean, you got to think about it. The guy, he's getting older. He's got back spasms. I mean, whatever he's got there. I mean, he can only go for so long. And now to bring him back and to pick him back up, it's just like AARP. But anyway, go ahead, guys.
Well, Bob, that's what I'm saying, though. He's not going to have to play.
Exactly.
But, he's only got to play 8 to 10 minutes, and in bigger games, bigger matchups, he might have to play 18, 20 minutes, and the competitor in him will probably want to play that. So when you're talking about a guy his caliber who was, going to earn $8 million, now you can get for 1.4 to $2 million. Yeah, I mean, you seriously, and plus the history and the nostalgic factor.
Yeah.
Look what Battier did.
Oh, yeah.
For the Grizzlies when he came back. I mean, it was instant fan connection. Now, granted, Battier was in a lot better shape than Mike Miller is. Don't get me wrong, as far as health-wise. But Miller's not going to be asked to play the minutes that Battier did when he came in 2011. So I for what we have available and the minutes we have, the limited minutes we have available, a guy like Mike Miller only paying $2 million a year for that's an absolute steal. And I think he can give us exactly what we need in short spouts.
Okay. Hey, Peter, it is always a pleasure, my man, to have you on the show. And, you're a great hookup, man.
Hey, man, no problem. And I will hopefully get you all in contact with more people down here at SEC Media Days, give you all a little more inside access to everything that's going on in the next 2 days.
Yeah, and get some of those guys up and be with us in Memphis in the morning.
Not a problem.
You know about that, how early you have to get up. But Peter Lancaster, WBTM, Birmingham, Alabama, Pick 6.
Pick6sportshow.com. Thanks for being on with us, man.
Not a problem, guys. Y'all take care. Have a great day.
All right, coming up after the Yahoo Sports Report break, we'll be back on the other side of the break. Brian Heater and...
Well, Brian Scannell.
I'm sorry.
Brian Heater's here,
Brian's going to be...
well.
Brian Scannell and Corbin Thompson, our favorite guys, are back in the saddle. They'll be with us after the Yahoo Sports Report break. And, hey, I am very excited to talk to these guys. And we'll be with them after we come back. You're in tune to Talk Back Live with Bob
And Josh.
7:30 Yahoo Sports. Don't go anywhere.
7:30 Yahoo Sports is KQPN West Memphis, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee. 7:30 Yahoo Sports, Memphis' sports station.